Welcome to the Neurodivergent Experience podcast, a podcast where we share the lived experiences of neurodivergent people to help create a better understanding for our community.
Join us every week as we bring you honest, raw, and inspiring conversations with specialists, advocates, and individuals who know exactly what it's like to live the neurodivergent experience.
I'm Jordan James, a neurodivergent specialist, father of neurodivergent children, husband to a neurodivergent wife, and author of The Autistic Experience, and I'm joined by my best friend.
I'm Simon Scott. I'm an autistic ADHD broadcaster, actor, and advocate. Join us as we journey into unraveling the neurodivergent experience.
Hello, hello. What did I buy this week?
Is this going to be right? Okay, it's going to be the new intro to every episode. You're going to be like, you'll never guess what I bought this week.
Okay, so last week I bought a Halo sword. The week before that, I was like, bought a load of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Funko Pop characters that are actually plushies as well, and they're awesome. If you're watching the YouTube video, if Simon does it this week. This is what it looks like. I got 4 of them because there are 4 turtles, as we discussed last week. So what? And it's not turtle related. What have I bought this week? Have a little guess.
I genuinely can't guess. The list could be potentially so long. Have you bought like a cardboard cutout shredder or something?
No, I bought the new colorway of the Tatum 3s.
If I have got around to making the YouTube video this week, because I'm a busy boy, I'm shaking my head for all those listening.
You are busy. You are moving. But yeah, busy. So I'm excited because I did something that I've never done before. I bought the new Tatums, and I only bought them because I've sold 4 other pairs of Jordans.
Oh, okay. That's a change for you.
Yeah. So I sold 4 and I bought 1 pair. And so the money, obviously, I made from the 4, I've spent on the new pair. So rather than just going out and spending more money that I shouldn't be spending, rather than just adding to a collection that, you know, is getting ridiculous, not by like some standards, but by my own standards, it's getting ridiculous. I actually was sensible about it. So I said, if I can't sell these, then I won't buy the new ones. And I managed to sell 4 pairs. And I was like, yeah.
Look at you.
So look at me. Still buying stuff. Still buying stuff, but being sensible about it. So I created more space, and then I didn't spend any money because I actually made money from the other pairs. And yeah, so yay for me.
Yay for being economically viable. Woo!
Yay for me.
That's a good way of doing it.
So yeah, I want to know, like, you sent me a video of your house. I wanted to put it on YouTube, but I didn't.
No, you can't do that. Please don't do that.
I was like, this is where he lives.
Please don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, but no, it was, it's so nice. Like, I'm so proud of you, dude. Like, it's a really nice house. Unfortunately, it is just outside Liverpool, which is always a bummer. But it's a lovely house.
Oh dear, there's somebody listening to this going, I'm coming for you, mate. I'm coming for you. Anyway.
That's fine. They wouldn't be able to find their way out of Liverpool, to be fair.
Yeah, well. So you might not when you come and visit at this rate.
No. That's never happening now, I've decided.
That's it. You'll never see me again. Yeah, no, I just want to say I've had messages from listeners congratulating me and thanking me. Apparently it's quite a big life event.
Yes, dude, of course it is.
I'm just kind of plodding along through life and going, is it?
Yeah, I can't wait for my son to do the same. So then I have a room where I can put all my new turtles.
Oh, just think how much money you'll free up when he's financially independent.
Technically, he is actually financially independent.
I'm joking.
No, but like I'm just saying, he just needs to bugger off so I can have that room. I can have a space for all my. Basically, I'm calling it my child man cave or my man child cave. When I'm not quite.
That's a good way of doing it. Yeah, I'm planning on doing the same. Well, I'm not. I'm having my office, but I'll allow myself to have a few things because that's where I'm at.
Well, just quickly, apparently I'm not allowed to say boy cave because that just sounds really predatorial.
Come to my boy cave.
Yeah, so I'm not allowed boy cave.
Probably...
I think we'll stick with like man-child cave.
Yeah. But yes,
I don't know why it's a cave.
Now got my own cave, which is great. But yeah, no, thank you to anybody that's messaged me and reached out to me. It's been very sweet. The part of my brain was like, why are people messaging me? This is weird. But it's been awesome. And it's just, it's crazy how like much of your life it takes up moving house and how crazy it all is. I mean, I've been, work goes on. It's not like you could just go, I'm just going to put my life on hold. I'm moving house at the minute. You've kind of got to fit it all in and, not trying to have too much of a high demand lifestyle, but the high demand lifestyle is choosing me at the minute. So it's just trying to navigate that and get through it all. And eventually, when I have got time to make the YouTube video again properly, there will be one with this episode, I promise.
I'm sure all our listeners, all our patients, all our listeners are being patient.
Oh yeah, look, I will put out
because they know how busy you are.
Oh yeah, there's just so much going on, man, and obviously, I am the technical guru. And,
you are indeed. I am just the sexy voice. That is all I have to offer.
To only be the sexy voice.
Hello, ladies.
I could do hello.
And
come
guys.
to my boy cave.
No.
Would you like to see the boy cave? That's the name of the episode. Welcome to the boy cave.
Do not call the episode that, but I do like the fact that you called the last episode the Four Turtles. I think that was really fun.
I'm enjoying. Do you know what, man? I feel like we've reached this point with the podcast where I really know what it is, and just calling the show.
I've got it now. It's called Another Pair of Jordans.
Another pair of Jordans. Yeah, another pair of Jordans. Brackets, the boy cave. Yeah. Why not? But no, it's been good, man. And like, there have been things that I've been doing to like try and alleviate my brain. Like it's not just because it's great at the moment, but I'm getting a lot of love out of pro wrestling again. The fact that they're touring in Europe means that the live show starts at 7 p.m. UK time rather than 1 a.m. So I've actually enjoyed watching it live. And John Cena came out the other day and told me he doesn't love me anymore. And he's breaking up with us because the fans have been creating a toxic relationship for him. And he literally pointed to a kid in the crowd and went, he is the representation of a toxic relationship. And the camera cut to this like little kid. It is literally like, the kid in Shrek that's like, do the raw. He's just staring at the camera like, oh. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the wrestling at the minute. The sun is shining, so I've not got seasonal depression anymore because that's a real thing. And life is good, my friend. That
sounded oddly sarcastic, actually.
Did it? Oh. Bring back the darkness, I say.
Sun's shining here. I'm very excited. Sun was shining yesterday, but I decided to spend the whole day playing Avowed, which is the new Xbox game, and it's basically like a much, much more colourful Skyrim. And
Skyrim is grey, green, blue, and grey.
Yeah, I mean, I love Skyrim. Like, that's one of my favourite games of all time.
Great,
and it's not as good as Skyrim as in like the detail, but at the end of the day, it's free and it's actually really good. And the more I get into the story, the better it's becoming. Plus, I'm a tree person because basically you're this character called a godlike. And what I love about this is that you are a character and you get to design your own character with godlike facial features, which means, you don't look like normal people. And everybody comments. They're like, that face. I was very surprised. Like, oh my God. And it even shows your character's struggles, like in like a quick cartoon version before you start the game, of you getting beaten up as a kid and bullied and shunned by society. And I'm like, they've made a game for me. It basically helps represent all the people that are shunned by society, all the LGBTQ plus people, or the neurodivergent people of minority races who grow up in a predominant area where their race isn't represented, or they're not represented. And I feel like, this particular character that you get to design yourself can represent you in a world in a world that doesn't actually accept you, but you are the hero of your own story, literal hero. And I've made my guy, he kind of looks like a giant broccoli, but he's supposed to be a tree. So
rather
you
than
can
the
see
rock,
it either
you've
way.
got the broccoli.
Yeah, so basically he's a tree man. So I've got a brown and green face, and I've got like a cool, funky dreadlock afro thing, which is
sweet,
basically
dude.
represents, and which is bright green.
It's like a Rasta ent. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, pretty much. But he's also got like a Viking type beard, which is also green, which is like representing the moss on the tree. And then obviously the branches of green foliage on his head.
I love a good bit of escape.
I'm good at designing stuff. I'm good at designing like game characters. I spent like 2 hours designing this dude.
Oh, if only you could edit YouTube videos.
And I called him Oakley.
Hey!
Because he's an oak.
Right. New name of the episode, Oakley in the Boy Cave. Yes. It's a great band name, though.
That's my autistic experience this week.
Yeah,
because
awesome.
I just lost myself in a fantasy world where I'm my own hero of the world. But it's really interesting, and I highly recommend anyone who likes that sort of game to give it a go, because it's bright and it's colourful, and you get to kill giant mushrooms, kind of a bit like Mario, really. But yeah, no spoilers, but you can use sword in one hand and a pistol that fires electricity bolts in the other. It's like a weird mix between BioShock and Skyrim, which are two of my favourite games, because you also have magic powers. So I can set fire to someone, hit them with a mace, and then shoot them in the face.
Bars.
Yeah. Take that, you person that didn't accept me.
It's almost like the kids that grew up playing the video games we grew up playing on are now adults making their own games. It's great, isn't it?
Love it.
Combining all of these things that we're like, what a world we live in now. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? So yeah, getting into the episode, actually, one of the things that we wanted to discuss, well, mostly me, because it's me that struggles with it, is time blindness. Simply because I was up the other night and I was on my phone scrolling for 10 minutes, and then suddenly 2.5 hours went past and I was meant to go to bed an hour and a half ago, and it completely and utterly fucked up my day the next day.
Can I ask you a quick question? Maybe I should have done this offline, so you can always edit this out.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's do that.
I don't understand what that's got to do with being neurodivergent, because everybody gets time blindness, and everybody, especially with the entertainment nowadays, especially with scrolling and social media and phones, dude. And I'm not that. Oh, everybody's like that. But I think with time blindness, I have to say, I think everybody's like that. So I don't really, and I can see your perspective of like our hyper focus. So we can get time blindness to maybe a more deeper level, I guess. But honestly, I think because of the invention of mobile phones and because everything is on your phone, I think phones cause more time blindness than just being neurodivergent in general.
Interesting. Because, well, there you go, man. Maybe that's the conversation. Simply because I have always struggled with timekeeping my entire life. And I think it's a combination of hyperfocus. I think it's a combination of demand avoidance. I would love to know like the deeper psychological things behind it. But when I think about some of the things that make me quote unquote disabled in a neurotypical world, it is I can sometimes fall into chronic lateness because I think I've got a lot more time than I actually do, especially like when I was living in London and trying to navigate a 2-hour commute. And I was like, yeah, I've got an hour to do everything, 2 hours worth of commuting in an hour. And I was chronically late for work a lot of the time, and I felt like I used to get stuck in like persistent procrastination. So I was like, oh yeah, just in a minute. Oh yeah, just in one more minute. And it just used to completely fuck up my life a lot of the time. And I've noticed it has dissipated a lot more since I've been on the methylphenidate. I'm a lot more on time. I have a lot more of an ability to keep myself regulated with how and when I should do things. Like genuinely with the way that I'm working with freelance and deadlines at the moment, just because of a few moving parts, all of my deadlines have gone, oh, you've got 2 weeks to do that. It's suddenly gone, you've got 2 days to do that. if I didn't have the methylphenidate, I genuinely think my entire schedule and working life would have fallen apart.
Well, okay, so what you're describing there is procrastination, right? Which is definitely, I mean, everybody does it, but it's a serious issue that does make a lot of neurodivergent people disabled due to the various reasons of why. It's not a matter of what it is, it's why it is. Okay. So for us, it does become more of a disability because it can cripple our home life, our work life, our cripple eating. I mean, the amount of times where I've been doing something I'm really, really interested in, and I would just put off eating. And I did that exactly yesterday. So I didn't actually eat till 3:00. Every time I looked, because in my whole living room, kitchen, dining room is all just open plan. I mean, you know that, you've been in my house. Mm-hmm. But the listeners don't, because they're not allowed to.
Unless I put a video of it on YouTube.
Unless they offer me free turtles, and then they can come around my house.
Okay.
So yeah, you get a tour of my house if you want to buy me turtle stuff.
Put it in the box. We'll give you a tour.
Anyone watching, I'm wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle t-shirt, and I love it. Anyway, so that's procrastination. That is a real issue, especially when it comes to hyperfocus, because you keep putting things off or you just ignore them. But time blindness is not that. Time blindness, because I Googled it. Okay, so time blindness, from what my research suggests, is more of you're so deeply into something that you don't realize how much time has passed. You can't accurately design your day around, I have to do this and this and this and this, if you're concentrating on one thing and then you get completely distracted by it, which is a neurodivergent thing. I will 100%. Yeah. It's a lot more difficult for us to navigate through daily tasks, especially if we're hyper-focusing. We do lose all sense of time. Absolutely. But I do believe that most people also do. But again, not to the level that we can. We can literally lose our entire freaking day. And I get that. But that for me is not really a thing. I am incredibly good at navigating through time. And I was wondering, is that just me? Do I just think this about myself, but everyone else can see a different part of me? Because that is often the way we don't see our own flaws, or we don't see our own disabilities. And I'm like, no, I'm really, I always know what the bloody time is. Always. Like if I don't have my watch, I freak out. I'm always looking at the time. But I said this to Sylvia. I said, oh, Scotty wants to do an episode on time blindness. And she went, you don't have that. And I went, no, I didn't think I did. She went, no, you are the most amazing person I've ever seen with time. She said, you just know, you'll do a journey and you'll know how long it will take. Like walking, cycling. I remember when we were in Malta, there was an island. It's called the Blue Lagoon, right? It's an area you can get a ferry on this, and you go to this place called the Blue Lagoon. And I looked at the distance, and then I looked at the ferry and how fast it was moving. This is before we got on. So this is because we could see the ferry moving. And I went, that's 45 minutes. 43 minutes. I was 2 minutes out. And I've never done that journey before. I had no idea how long it was going to take. And the kid said, oh, how long is it going to take? And I looked at the distance, and I have no idea the distance. I'm just looking with my eyes. I looked at how fast the ferry was moving. And again, have no idea the actual speeds. And I'm just looking, and it's about 45 minutes. And that's not a fluke. I do that shit all the time. It's weird. My brain calculates it without me actually
picks up the pattern
thinking about it,
and then just drops it in your inbox. That's crazy. Yeah.
So when it comes to like, oh, this takes this long, this takes this long, this takes this long, I'm really, really good at going, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and this, and this. This is my time, and it's very, very valuable. And that is always something that's really stuck with me. But absolutely, when I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do this one thing, and I need to do those other things, unless I like have to, like it's like a doctor's appointment or something, I will definitely just put things off. But again, for me, that's more like just procrastination due to, demand avoidance, anxiety, and just, it's kind of weird. Because yesterday I was like, oh, I need to do a few things. And then I was like, all those things are things that aren't like terrible. Like it's not like, oh, I have to go and do that. It's a really annoying thing. It was going out for a nice walk, and it was going to go and have a nice bath. And it was all things that were going to make me feel good. But once I was playing this game, I was like, this is the most fun thing. And it's weird because I kind of felt guilty about that. I kind of felt guilty that I didn't do the other things that I wanted to do, which is a weird thing, I know. And Sylvia's great. She's like, right, but you just enjoy playing the game, right? And I went, yeah. She went, then you played the game for the whole day. See, there's a lot of people that will do that every day. But she's like, you don't sit around playing games every single day. That's the first time you've actually sat down and played a game all day since I can remember. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I think it comes back to, and I'll let you carry on, but I always think it comes back to the fact that there was a time in my life where I did do that. I would just play video games all day. All day. But that's not me anymore. And that's not me today. That's not going to be me tomorrow. And that's not going to be next week. The next time I sit down and play this particular video game all day, probably be next Friday. And I can plan that day and go, well, I don't want to do anything that day. Therefore, I won't have anything guilty to feel about. So, yeah, like with the time blindness, how would you say, like specifically that, like what makes you time blind? Do you understand it at all? Because I don't. That's the thing.
Yeah, so like as you're talking about like the procrastination, I'm internalizing it and going, maybe I've misunderstood this. Maybe it's the like interception and I've misread my internal feeling. But then actually, when I think about it, there are times where I'm at work and I will be doing stuff and I'll go, I bet 45 minutes has gone. And I'll look at the clock and go, 5 minutes? What the fuck?
Really?
And then there are times when I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, there's only been like 10 minutes. And I go, fuck, it's an hour and a half. Fuck, I put food in the oven. And that's when I'm like, oh shit. And I completely mess with myself. It's like yesterday, right? I worked 9 till 6 because I got put on an earlier shift at work. It's just how it goes. But because of the way that my deadlines work, I had to get something ready for Friday. And today being Thursday, our recording day, I've got a lot of stuff that's on today. I haven't got time to do it before my Friday deadline. But I had to come home from work and edit a podcast. And normally it takes an hour and a half. And it got to about an hour and I was 3/4 of the way through. And then I started to panic because I was like, oh, have I got enough time? Have I got enough time? And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, right, well, that was 5 minutes. And I look at the clock and go, fuck, that was 10 minutes. And then like this anxiety starts to build. And this is kind of ironic, really, because when you work in radio, everything is timed. So I used to have like a watch on. I used to have alarms on my phone. I used to have like an hour and minutes calculator. And I got really good at being able to measure. I'm like, right, okay, we've got to count backwards and do time. That I was really good at. But if you say to me, oh, your haircut is at 11 o'clock. It's a 20-minute walk. Have to leave at 20 to 11. I go, right, okay.
Yeah, so you don't. You leave at half past 10.
Exactly. But
that's where my
I would
brain
suddenly
is.
go, right, okay, well, I'm just doing this. Like suddenly I'm sat at my computer and I go, right, okay, I've got to clean my teeth. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got 10 minutes. Oh, that YouTube video is only 3 minutes. Yeah, I can watch that. And then that's it. I mess with myself. And there's certain things it's like, this is why I was like, I think this is a time blindness is almost a symptom of other things. So, you know, when you were talking about like procrastination, hyperfocus, things like that, it, like you say, you've got the sort of pattern recognition where you can judge like distance, speed and time. I don't. The amount of times I'm driving and I look at a car behind me and I'm like, is that going faster than me? Is it going slower than me? And I really struggle to judge distances. I always have done. Like even in golf, I look at a putt and I'm like, is that 6 foot? Is it 60 foot? I don't know.
That's why you bought that little gadget.
Exactly. And,
laser gadget.
But there are times where like I'm playing golf and I'd be like, oh, I wonder how long that was. Was it like 2 hours? And I check my watch and I'm like, it was 3.5. And I just almost like lose certain amounts of time.
Doesn't that go along with the phrase, time flies when you're having fun?
But this is why I wanted to talk about it. Because obviously like I'm not as experienced as you in the world of neurodiversity. And I'm, sitting and thinking about episodes we could do and trying to think about like what episodes I could make that would have helped me a few years ago. And time blindness is totally like, I just like go, oh, what time of day is it? Where is it? Why is the sun going down?
Okay, so 100% when you first sent me that as an idea, I was like, I don't relate to that. But I didn't go, oh, I don't want to do that. I didn't understand because I don't relate to that. So I was like, well, what is it? Why is this just you talking? And I'm like, where is this Where do I fit into this episode? And I kind of thought of it as like, if we did an entire episode about like how to be a neurodivergent parent of neurodivergent kids, like where would you fit into that episode? But the fact is, you were a neurodivergent kid. Your parents are neurodivergent parents. And the more I'm talking to you about it, I'm realizing time blindness doesn't mean that you have it or you don't have it. I mean, the whole point of talking about it is that we have different perspectives of it. So as soon as I started thinking, well, because you said, because I went, oh, I don't do that. I'm actually really good with time. And you went, well, that's a different perspective. So that's really good. So that's why, so don't ever put yourself down or doubt your own ideas, because at the end of the day, your experiences are always valid. But then I'm always going to be like, explain it. Because I have to understand everything. Explain, yeah. Explain it. And you did, and you have. And it's brilliant, because there'll be people listening going, oh, I'm just like Jordan. I'm really, really accurate. And then people go, oh my God, I'm literally just like Simon. Like I cannot navigate through the freaking day. Time is not my friend. 24 hours is not enough.
So where I got the idea for this episode, right, is it's so, do you know what? It sounds so simple when I say it out loud. And there is still that like hint of like internalized ableism shame when I say it. I hate early mornings. If I've got a start time at work at 9 a.m., I'm like, 9 a.m. I know it's 9 a.m., but it takes me an hour and a half to wake up. I feel like I've only just got going in this episode and it's 10:30. And
see, that's weird for me.
I struggle with it. I really struggle with it because I'm a night owl. Like my brain comes alive at like 11 a.m. But if I have less than 6 hours sleep, I'm literally skirting on thin ice of a meltdown all day the next day. And because I used to work early mornings when I was in radio, I used to start at like 5 a.m. Dude, the anxiety that I used to have about oversleeping. And the one time that I did oversleep, I had a horrific meltdown in a toilet at work. And because I felt so embarrassed, I actually quit the job. So I've got a little bit of trauma based around it. Like there are times where I wake up at 4 a.m. and go, oh, fuck, I've overslept my alarm. I've not worked in that job for 5 years. So when I saw on my schedule that I had a 9 a.m. start and I finished at 11:30 the night before, in my brain, I'm going, fuck, I've only got 7 hours of sleep, which means I'm in that I could have a meltdown tomorrow window because I'm super tired and my eyes hurt and I'm overstimmed and I was laid awake going, sleep. You need to sleep. I look at the clock and I'm like, okay, I can get 6 hours sleep. And then I kind of like close my eyes for a minute and I go, was that 5 minutes or was it an hour? And I click my phone and I go, oh, it's 20 minutes. Okay, that's 5.5 hours sleep.
Your panic of how long you're sleeping is affecting your sleep, which is that's severely disabling. With me, I think the best thing to do, my advice is if you have a watch, you have a phone or anything like that, put it well away from you. So you don't know what the time is. So you just sleep and your alarm will go off. Because I'm sure that everyone can relate to the fact that like they might wake up for a wee at like 5 a.m. and then they look at the clock in the toilet and they go, oh, freaking hell, it's 5 a.m. And you've got to get up at 6 a.m. And you go, oh, freaking hell, I've only got an hour before my alarm goes off. And then you'll lay back down and you'll want to go to sleep. But then you'll keep thinking, is my alarm going to go off now? Is my alarm going to go off now? And you're like, oh, I wonder how long I'm going to have sleep. So I 100% understand that perspective. And a lot of the times, if I'm like that and I've woken up an hour before I was meant to, I just get up. Because I know it's a waste of time trying to lay in bed. And I'm like, I might as well go down, have a coffee, like center myself, watch some YouTube, watch some telly, wake myself up. Because, okay, so obviously I work nights and days. I work different shifts, but I work 12-hour shifts. So my days are long and my nights are long when I work. So if I'm working a day shift like I am tomorrow, I have to be at work at 6:20 for my 6:30 start, right? I will get in 10 minutes early on the dot every single time. I might miss it. Well, I might be a couple of minutes early. I might be a couple of minutes late, but it's pretty much on the dot every time. I wake up 10 minutes before I have to leave the house. I can get up and get ready in 10 minutes. And that's because I get all my food ready from the day before. I get my bag ready by the front door. I get my food ready in Tupperware because I take a packed lunch, so I know what I'm eating. And that's in the fridge. I have my bag that I put the food in. It's a Garfield Halloween bag because I'm cool like that.
Sensational.
Yeah, I'm just that cool. And I put that by the fridge. So when I walk in the kitchen, I see the bag open and I remember that's for the food. So I don't forget my food because I have done many times, forgot my food.
I might do today.
I had to like order out when I'm at work because we're security. We can't leave the site. So we have to like order a pizza or McDonald's or whatever. There. And to the McDonald's, by the way, not the pizza. So I make sure I have everything prepared, ready for me to get up, clean my teeth, have a quick shower, get dressed because my uniform is hanging up, ready for me to go on the balcony upstairs. So I come out of the shower and there's my uniform. I mean, uniform is socks, trousers, shirt, out the door. It's like, to me, it's that simple.
'Twas that it were so
it's
simple.
Socks, trousers, shirt, come downstairs, put the prepared food into the bag. This takes a minute, right? At most. And then as I'm leaving, my other bag is by the front door. I grab my rucksack, got the other bag in my hand, grab my keys, and I'm out.
I want to know what the listeners are thinking. Are they sat there like me going, we're not worthy? How do you do it? Like, because I can do this, but something slightly messes with it. It all falls apart. It absolutely all falls apart. It's like yesterday, I woke up, I needed to leave the house at 8 o'clock. And I woke up, my alarm went off at 7:15. And honestly, when I woke up, it felt like somebody had thrown a flashbang in the room. Like, my ears are ringing, everything. I'm just like, oh, fuck, where am I? And it takes me like 2 hours to feel normal. So getting up and then just going and go and getting your stuff together, like, it works, but it does. It's like, it's so weird. It's so strange how we're different and so similar. But in a way, there's only one thing that I can get myself up for, really. If you tell me that I've got to be up and out of the house for 7:30 for work, I will freak the fuck out. If you tell me we're playing golf at 7:30, I'll be sat with my shoes on at 6.
Yeah, I'm like that with basketball.
Make that make sense.
Because work is something that we don't particularly want to do. We just it's part of life. You have to do it, and other things are a choice. So it's if somebody doesn't give you choice and say you have to do this, demand avoidance goes, meh. And then from demand avoidance is like that rolling avalanche of shit that will just become everything else. It will be everything else. And I also think it's down to the fact that if you really, really don't want to do something, it feels like it's 10 times harder than anything else that you want to do. Even if it's actually easier, right? Even if if someone gives you an easier task than one that you might give yourself, you might say, look, I want to build an entire house out of Lego, right? An entire house out of Lego, right? And you go, okay, that is major time consuming. That is a major project, but oh my God, I'm ready for that, right?
Yeah.
But then someone says, oh, okay, I need you to go and take these clothes and drop them outside a charity shop. And I'm like, that sounds like the hardest, because I don't want to do that. Like, that's not something I decided to do. If I decided to do it, that's different. But if someone's telling me to do it, or even if I decide to do it, if it's a chore, like I don't particularly want to do, I just know I have to, like going to the tip. Oh my God. It takes me half an hour.
Dude, I hate
it takes me half an hour to do the tip because you have to do it within half an hour. And I'm very good at timing, as we've discussed. So I'm really good at knowing exactly how long it's going to take me, how long it's going to take me to pack the car, exactly when I should start packing the car, exactly when I need to get ready. I just do it, right? And I'm in and I'm out. And the only thing that really mucks me up is, but I always prepare for this. And this is the thing about time management, is to prepare for when that time management can go wrong.
Fail to prepare to fail.
If I go, I've got that half an hour, then I want to expect there to be a bit of a queue. Now, I know that the tip nowadays, you have to book, which means there's less people that go at the same time.
You've got to go to the tip?
Yeah, you've got a booking system. Otherwise, I mean, there was queues that would go like freaking a mile down the bloody road sometimes.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you've got to book a time slot of half an hour, which, and you, in order to book it, you have to be from this area. So it's actually really great and efficient, and it stops people driving. Yeah, that. Are you local? You can't use our tip today. Are you local?
This is a local tip.
A local tip for local people. Fucking love you, dude. I love it.
We'll have no rubbish here.
We'll have no foreigners coming in there rubbish. Bloody foreigners from Crawley coming to Horsham. How dare you?
Leave your duvet there, sir.
Are you from the county over? Get back over your line. Anyway.
Yes,
so I know that at the maximum, because of the amount of spaces there are, there's going to be 5 to 6 cars possibly in a queue. And normally people take this amount of time to go from this, to do their tip. This is the maximum time that normally people use to do the tip. And then this is how much time each person will come. And this is how much time I will be able to get into that slot. And so I make sure that I give myself at least 10 to 15 minutes. And I know on a Monday, it's going to be busier because people always want to go on a Monday, get it out of the way at the beginning of the week because it's not open at the weekends. And then on Wednesday, it's not going to be so busy. So I will time management that as well. I go on a Monday, you've got to leave earlier. On a Wednesday, I don't have to leave. And my whole brain does all of these.
Yeah, bottom up process, all of these the hell out of that.
But I don't actually sit down and figure that out. My brain just does it.
Oh, gosh.
It's the weirdest shit. And I've known about this about my brain forever. Like I've always been like this. And I obviously never associated with being neurodivergent, but as soon as I found out I'm autistic, I was like, that's there you go. I think that was one of the things that made me go, I think I've got a bit of a superpower here. You know? It's a pretty cool thing to be able to do. Loads of things fuck me up every day, but like time management.
In the tribe, you'd be, that's an awesome skill.
I'm the leader of the tribe. Yeah, I'm like, we'll go this direction. It will take us this exact amount of time if we walk at this exact speed, the average speed of a person walking. And I'll even do it as like I look at a mountain, and I have done this. I've looked at a mountain. I have no idea how tall mountains are, right? It's not something I really care about. So I've never researched how tall the mountain is. I just look at the top of the mountain and I go, 2 hours. And someone's like, there's no way we're climbing that in 2 hours. And I don't rush. So I'm right. I will climb at the speed I climb.
That's what I was just about to ask you. I says, do you set yourself the goal and then try and reach it, or does it just naturally just occur?
No, because at the same time, that wouldn't work if it's someone else driving, but it still does.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. That's fascinating.
If I rushed, Simon wouldn't be able to keep up with me, or Sylvia wouldn't be. So I have to go, well, I know how fast they go, and they're not trying to get any quicker. I know how fast they go. Plus, I know at this point there might be a bit of a, like I might have to get round people because people always climb slowly. And I just adjust for that. And it's normally spot on. And I don't know how useful it is. I mean, it's always helped me with my time management. It's
incredibly useful in certain situations. Like
yeah, it can be, yeah. But I mean, that's like the opposite to time blindness. So when is your worst time blindness?
Oh, should we take a little break and then I'll tell you?
Yeah, let's do that.
This episode of the Neurodivergent Experience is brought to you by RTN Mental Health Solutions. With up to a 5-year waiting list for autism and ADHD assessments via the NHS, and that's even if you get a referral from your GP, getting an assessment in the UK has never been harder. So if you're like me and can't wait anymore, going private may be the best option for you. RTN offers online assessments for kids aged 6 right up to adults, with prices starting at £900. To make it more accessible, RTN can offer payment plans up to 5 months. You can access their remote services from the comfort of your home anywhere in the UK, and RTN offers group and one-to-one counselling, a private route to access ADHD medication following the assessment, and will even fight for you if your GP doesn't accept the results. So if you live in the UK and can't wait to get an assessment, go to www.rtnmentalhealthsolutions.com and use the discount code RTN23, making it even more affordable for all of our listeners to get an autism and ADHD assessment.
Because I forgot.
Oh yeah, we'll come back from the break with a good old slurp. We're not sponsored by a fizzy drink, but if anyone wants to get in touch... Welcome to the Neurodivergent Experience. That was Mr. Jordan James relieving himself, and I'm Simon Scott, and we're talking about time blindness. So it could have been a 15-minute break. It could have been a 5-second break. I don't know. Do you know? Yes.
Yeah, I opened a can of Tropical Blast Zero.
Ooh, nice.
And it was tasty.
The worst time blindness, the worst experience of time blindness, if you were to ask my mother this, she would be like, anytime you had to get ready for school. I don't think I was ever on time for school, ever. There was one particular time when I was at sixth form, it was in the town over, and because I couldn't drive, my mum used to have to drive me. And the bus for the college used to pick people up from the other side of town. So she used to have to drive me to the bus stop to then get a bus to then go to college. And there was one particular time I had a haircut I wasn't happy with. And I was so busy looking in the mirror trying to adjust my hair that the bus pulled up and the bus pulled away. And I was just sat in the mirror doing my hair. And my mum looked at me and she was like, Simon, the bus. I didn't even hear her. It was because I was just in the hyperfocus. And then I made my mum late for work because she then had to drive me another 25 minutes to college and she had an hour drive back. And that's not a unique experience. I made her do that multiple times. The amount of times, dude, I didn't go to lectures at uni because I was like, I can't get there in time. I'm just not going to go, which is annoying, really, because I still got a good grade. So it's not like I taught myself a lesson with it. It didn't backfire in any way, which is sort of unfortunate. But dude, yeah, I've had it like where I've just been late to work by an hour because I've just gone, oh yeah, I'll get the train. Oh yeah, I've got time to get a coffee and a croissant. Yeah, I've got time to walk there. What do you mean my train was 20 minutes ago? Oh, fuck. Like, that's experiences that I have had. And especially living in London where you're like, oh, it'll only take me 10 minutes to get there, an hour and a half later. And I will say, especially since figuring out I'm neurodiverse and everything that comes with that, and or neurodivergent, I should say, and everything that comes with that, and especially like being medicated with methylphenidate, I am now a lot better at time management, a lot better. Like, I listened to a podcast a little while ago, one of your heroes, Alan Shearer, when he was the interim manager at Newcastle, he was saying...
Congratulations, Newcastle.
Yeah, thanks. So, to be fair, though, if Liverpool are going to lose a cup final to any team, I'm really pleased that it was a team like Newcastle. Like, if it was a City pleased. Or a United, I bet you were...
I was very pleased.
Like, yeah, look, they did great. They played well. They outplayed us. You know, fair play to them. Like, as a United fan at my work was like, oh, you got beat by Newcastle. I went, you have to be in a final, brother, to lose one. I was like, oh, not very nice, that was it. I was like, yes, I have to scroll down on the second page to see how United are doing these days.
Okay. The Alan Shearer's podcast.
Alan Shearer's podcast, sorry. He said when he was the interim manager, he says to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late, and to be late is a fucking disgrace.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the sort of rules that he had as management. And he had one coach that rocked up 20 minutes late, and he was like, why are you late? He was like, oh, this reason. I went, okay, I'm going to fine you 5 figures worth of your salary. And the guy proper kicked off. He was like, how can you fine me 15 grand for being an hour late? He was like, don't be fucking late. Like, slamming his desk and stuff. And I was like, I'd not heard that phrase properly. You know, to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. To be late is a fucking disgrace. And it stuck with me. And I've actually managed to do sort of what you do, where I, rather than going, oh, I need to leave at 22, no, I need to leave at 20 past. And that has really, really helped me. But what it hasn't affected is when I go, oh, I've got 2 hours to play my video game tonight, and I need to play my video game because it gives me glimmer, it's a special interest, and it heals my soul. So why am I now stuck on Instagram for the next 2 hours? And then I look up and go, oh, I haven't got time to play my game now. And I feel even worse.
Yeah, so that leads me to my other question. I mentioned people on their phones and scrolling, and I mean, it's happened to me. You know, I've gone to just thinking, oh yeah, I need to do a quick post. I haven't done a post for a while. I need to do a quick post, and then I do a post, but then it's my feed, and other things come up on Facebook, and I'm scrolling, and yeah, I do lose sense of time when I do that. I do that, and I go, God, why am I doing this? Like I've just got to stop. So I literally just put my phone. I've done the post, and I put my phone as far away from me as possible, but close enough that if it rings or if there's a message, I can still reach it. But I don't like social media as a whole, because it's not just because how toxic it is, but because it's so distracting. It's so time consuming, and it does cause time blindness. It does suck your life away for literally just getting frustrated or getting annoyed. But I mean, but also it is a great form of entertainment to kill time. If you are bored, it's great at killing time, but that's it. It is a time consumer. It's a time killer, right? It does cause time blindness. So would you agree that it is just so much worse now because of social media, because of phone?
Oh, dude, absolutely. Absolutely. Like having the access to the internet, like one of the things that I struggle with is being bored. Like if I'm bored, I'm like, I feel like a zombie. Mm-hmm. And as we discussed in our addictions episode, I know I can go on YouTube and find 20 minutes of something. I know I can, because I have enough special interest and enough interest where I can be like, oh, is that guy dropped a video on the wrestling that was on last night? Is this guy that plays this game put a blog out about the latest update? What's Pat McAfee said about the NFL trade window? What's happening with like LeBron and the Lakers and Shannon Sharp going? Have you seen what he did the other day? He was like, WWE, Royal Rumble, UFC, Lakers in 5. Have you seen the Lakers meme that he's been doing? That's what I mean.
I have not, because I don't go on social media.
Exactly, but this is what I mean is like, I think one of the things that is the worst thing for social media with me is it gives me a sense of community, even though I'm not communicating. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, because I'm like watching what people are talking about like John Cena on Raw, or like how people are talking about Luka at the Lakers, even though like I'm not huge into NBA, I'm interested in news and I'm interested in pop culture. So I find I have 5 minutes and I can lose 50 because I'll go, oh, what's happening in the news? What's happening in the sport? Oh, I'll go on The Athletic. Has anybody dropped any articles about Liverpool this week? And I can find things to distract myself. God damn it, do I? I do it a lot. And that is one of the things that I find like so difficult with adding in the procrastination, adding in time blindness on top of that, because I'm like, oh, I've got 5 minutes and then I'm there for 15. But also it's the change in attention. It's like if I'm doing something, like if I'm editing, right? And now I go, oh, I can get this done in an hour because I'm great at it. And I get like 20 minutes in, and I pick up this little fucker and I go, who's texted me? And then I do the text. I reply to a text. Maybe they send me a link on like Instagram or something to something I'm watching. I click on the link. And then what happens? Another video pops up. Mm-hmm. And then another video pops up. What was going to be a 5-minute break away from my work has become a 50-minute break. And the hour that I had to do work is now, I've got to fit that into 10 minutes.
Right, yeah.
And that's where it fucks me up.
Yeah, see, this is the problem with that. Every type of communication we have nowadays is used on that singular device, which is why I put all my social media on my tablet. So if I want to do a post, if I want to check social media, I have to get my very large tablet out rather than, but if somebody messages me or calls me and I pick up my phone, I can't go on social media on my phone. So I don't have that as a distraction. I don't go, oh, someone's messaged me. I look at the message and go, oh, it's just, Sophie's put a picture on the family chat of some nice cakes that she made, which is lovely. And I go, oh, that's lovely. And I reply, a big heart. Oh, well done, baby girl. That's amazing. And then I can put my phone down because I can't use it for anything else because everything's on my tablet. And I'm not picking up my tablet when Sophie posts on the family chat. So I've separated my communication device, and I can still go on the internet. I could still go, I wonder what the latest news is. But normally I just don't. But as far as like the apps, like, Facebook, Instagram, things like that, I just go, okay, if I want to go on those, I have to go on my big tablet, and it's completely separate. So that's the solution that I found, because I found the exact same thing as you. That I was going to just look at my phone for one thing, and then an hour later, I've looked at, I can't even remember. Like doom scrolling is the worst. It is the worst. But I think for everybody out there, we've come up with some really good suggestions. I think preparing yourself for certain things, not everyone's going to have the ability to just look at something and be able to time it, but you can calculate that time. If you got, I've only got 2 hours to climb a mountain, you can figure out how fast you walk. You can figure out how tall the mountain is, and you can do your research of how on average does it long. You can do all of that.
Shows how mathematic your brain is though, really, right? When you're making these equations and stuff just by like eye. Because I can do stuff with, I have similar things to that. Like I've got like echolocation. Like when I went to New York, we never got the maps out. I just went, oh, you want to go there? I walk you there. And that's what I've got. I've got like echolocation.
Yeah, that's to do with your eidetic memory.
But if you say how long it takes, be an hour, could be 5. No.
Yeah.
We get there when we get there.
So let's take another break, and then we can get on to the hot topic.
Have you ever felt stuck in patterns that don't serve you? Struggled with stress or wanted to connect more deeply with yourself? Then I have to introduce you to a friend of the podcast, Ashley Bentley of Integrated Coaching, Breathwork and Hypnotherapy. Ashley is a highly experienced clinical hypnotherapist and coach specializing in working with neurodivergent minds. Through a unique blend of integrative coaching, breathwork, and hypnotherapy, Ashley helps people rewire subconscious patterns, regulate their nervous systems, and step into more empowered versions of themselves. Whether you're dealing with addiction, anxiety, burnout, or struggles with self-acceptance, Ashley offers practical and science-backed tools tailored just for you. Her unique methods combine neuroscience, storytelling, and subconscious transformation to create real, lasting change. Jordan and I can personally attest to the profound and transformative effects of her sessions, which have been life-changing. She does all of these sessions online, meaning she can work with you no matter where you are in the world. If you're ready to break free from old patterns and start living with more clarity, confidence, and connection, go to bit.ly/AshleyNDE to book a free consultation or learn more.
Oh, hot, 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 hot! Hot, 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 hot! Hot topic.
Well, this week I've decided to rag on the NHS and England once again. Because obviously we've been focused a lot on the US, understandably. No regrets.
Oh yes, no regrets.
No regrets, because there's a lot going on there. But England is also really bad with a lot of stuff. Before I say it, this is the saddest thing for me, is the fact that, I've traveled a lot. I've talked to loads of people in all different countries about autism awareness, about ADHD, about how neurodivergent people are treated. And hands down, from my research, this isn't fact, this is just from my research, the UK seems to be one of the most progressive, understanding, and helpful countries in the world.
Yeah, we are lucky.
If not the one. But we're still terrible. It's still bad. It's still bad.
It could be better.
It really is still
could
not
be worse,
great.
But it's not great.
It could be worse, but it isn't great. It really isn't. And this is proof. Okay, so this is just one story I picked up. I was looking at Facebook and this popped up in my feed. Autistic teen says he was left feeling inhumane after being rejected by NHS mental health services. Damien, who'd contemplated suicide due to his experiences, says he believes NHS services think autistic people can't engage effectively with therapy. And let's be clear, it's the people he dealt with. we know people in the NHS. We have had people in the NHS here, and I do training with the NHS, and my local CAMs have been great for us. Not CAMs, sorry, mental health clinic has been great for us. But it is a lottery. It is a postcode lottery in this country. It should be great everywhere. Everybody should get the same support, the same level of treatment. But that is not the case. I happen to be in Horsham, and we have, for me and my family, I can't speak for anyone else, we've had really great mental health support. And my diagnosis of autism and ADHD consecutively through the NHS were great. They really were. But poor Damien, 17, autistic, obviously, he also battles mental health issues that have left him unable to get out of bed and contemplating harming himself. I'm not going to go into the story. I suggest that anybody listening, it was on Sky News and it's on Facebook. But we'll put a link in to this particular story on the episode, and so that everyone can have a little read, because it's just very sad. And obviously, with the autistic experience, the book I co-authored, the first section is bullying. The first section is bullying, and we had 200 participants. So we read, Marie Locke and I had to read through 200 stories of childhood bullying.
Heavy.
And we narrowed it down to 85 different stories overall. And it's just the same. Every single time we end up with the same mental health problems. And it's like, okay, the school system sucks for a lot of neurodivergent people. Not all of it, but most of the school system sucks. Most of us had bad experiences with the bullying. It happens. But then when you actually need help, you're saying, look, I have an autism diagnosis. NHS told me I'm autistic. And I have serious mental health issues. And the general idea of this article is he was turned down because they said, oh, you have them because of your autism.
Ugh.
And it's like, even one, that's not the case. But even if that is the case, why does that mean that they can't help him? They're basically saying, because you're autistic, you're going to have these mental health issues, and there's nothing we can do about it because we can't change you being autistic.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bye.
That's crazy.
What fuck monkey was in charge of this particular branch of the NHS to make that decision to turn this child, this vulnerable, desperate, needing help child, and go, bye. You don't have a soul, right? You have no empathy. You absolute nut fucker, right? You absolute dick. Fuck you. And that is my take on this. What is your take on this?
Yeah,
I just love insulting arseholes. It's fun.
Yeah, it's cathartic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, look, as somebody who's been through, NHS counselling, CBT, group therapy, I've had multiple experiences. I've had it in London twice and Manchester 3 times. In London, you're just a number on a page, dude. My experience. It's right, okay, now you've got 45 minutes, your 45 minutes are up. See you, kid. And the sort of progress that I made, not to discredit, the counsellors that I spoke to or dealt with in London, but the 2 that I've had in Manchester, Phil and Camille, amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Really gave me the space to talk about stuff, figure it out. And even when I was sort of figuring out I was neurodivergent, when I was speaking to Phil, he went, yeah, I could see that. He went, look, I don't have a huge understanding of autism. And he says, but if you feel like you've got a gut feeling with it, he went, explore it, go with it. Because I'm not going to discredit how you feel just because I don't understand how you feel. Amazing. That's, the sort of things that you want. And even when I was speaking to a counsellor recently, awesome, really, really good. But it would be really frightening if I, went in with some of the issues that I had originally, like, getting out of bed and wanting to harm yourself, unfortunately, is not an alien feeling for me. It's something that I have experienced in my life before. I don't feel like that now. I'm very lucky to feel that way because I've put the work in. But there have been times where, when I was undiagnosed, highly masking, in a toxic relationship, hating work, hating life, overstimulated, I didn't want to get out of bed. And I did have a lot of thoughts of hurting myself. If I had gone to a counsellor and they'd gone, well, it's because you're autistic, you're just going to have to deal with it. I don't know what I would have done. Genuinely, I don't know what I would have done.
I would imagine it would just exacerbate the situation. It's just going to make it worse.
It would have absolutely have made it worse. And don't get me wrong, folks. Those that are listening, and like even when we've had a surge in our American listeners. Hello to our American listeners. It's great to have you.
Hello, we love you.
Hello, we do love you. And I read about how the Center of Controlled Diseases and all of these sorts of things, and how people talk about autism as like an affliction, an infection, a disease. And, I did it. I was looking for a cure. When I was first figuring out I was neurodivergent, I was like, what can I do? What can I put in place to cure these symptoms? Rather than going, you are who you are, work with it and, make accommodations like we've been talking about with time blindness, putting things into place to help you, work. And I've got a hell of a lot from that from you, man. You've taught me a lot of things that have really helped bring a lot of positivity in my life, and speaking to other autistic people that have given me their suggestions and their advocacy have really helped me in life. But my God, if I'd been at the beginning of my journey and rather than meeting somebody like you, I met somebody like this young man met and was like, there's nothing that you can do, get a grip. I don't think I'd be here. If I'm honest, that's the cold, hard truth. I don't think I would have been able to have turned it around. And that's awful.
No, I mean, I'm very glad you're here.
Me too, dude. Me too, man.
I love you so much, dude. And my heart and the empathy that I do have, because I am autistic, and that means I have extra empathy for anyone listening. It crushed me. It just crushed me. And like I said, I had to read through 200 stories like this, because we also have a section in that book about medical diagnostic process and dealing with doctors, being autistic and dealing with doctors, and especially females, especially women, especially girls, or assigned female at birth. They have the toughest time when it comes to being neurodivergent and their mental health issues, because it actually means that they end up getting misdiagnosed completely. At least this kid, and I say because you've got to find some light in all the freaking darkness, at least this kid managed to get an autism diagnosis. At least he has that.
Yeah.
And that will serve him well, we hope. We hope that will serve him well for the future. But the reality is it also might hinder his future. Like, it's literally, I'm going to say it, and I'll say it again. I keep saying it. Autism is a double-edged sword. It is a double-edged sword. It is a two-sided coin. It is a flip of the coin, because it just depends on, one, your environment, and two, who you are talking to. Because every single one of us is different, but we're all going to have the same thing of disability ability. And you can talk to one person who says, oh, okay, I'm autistic. And that one person can be super cool and understanding and going, oh, okay, what are your abilities? Like, you're autistic. I've heard autistic people have really great abilities. What is it that you can do really, really well? And then once they've gone through that, they say, okay, and what are your disabilities and how can I help you with them? And that's the conversation that needs to happen with every single individual autistic person, is that exact conversation. Start with the positive and then talk about how they can help the negative. And that's the only conversation you should ever have with anyone about them being autistic for the first time. But then that same person will go and say, oh, I'm autistic. And they'll go, I don't. Well, does that mean that you just sit in a corner rocking, or does that mean that you can't? Like, what does that even mean? Like, I suppose you probably can't. You can't talk to people, can you? Like, you'll probably be really bad at a job in like customer relations.
Oh, dude, I had it when. Yeah, why? I had it when I got diagnosed. I told people I'd been friends with for years, and they were like, "Don't know about that."
That's the other one. Is like, I don't think you are.
Cool.
What?
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, cheers for that. Or they'll go, and we've said it before. Oh, you're like my auntie's second cousin's neighbours. They have autism too. You must be just like those 5-year-olds. Like, do they like turtles? Because that's the only thing that I would imagine.
It's the entry level conversation right now.
Yeah, right now, yeah. But I have been thinking about bringing down my He-Man figures, but I just have to figure out where to put
Tune in to next week's episode to find out what's the next one.
So, my heart goes out to this kid. My heart goes out to every single one of you amazing, unique, and perfectly evolved humans out there. Because we are supposed to exist. We are supposed to be like this. And the world is supposed to help us. So, yeah, bye.
Bye, everybody. Another great one. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to the Neurodivergent Experience. We hope today's episode sparked something for you. Whether it's a new idea, a bit of validation, or just a moment of connection. Remember, new episodes are every week, so be sure to join us for the next one for more conversations and insights into the neurodivergent experience. If you've enjoyed this podcast, help us grow. You can do that by rating and reviewing this show. Your support makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just search for the Neurodivergent Experience. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, take care of yourself. You're not alone in this journey.